As we discuss the role of food in lifestyle medicine, it's important to discuss what kind of nutrients are in the food. And we'll be talking about so-called macronutrients and micronutrients.
Macronutrients are the carbohydrates, protein, and fat. And all three of those are extremely important. Certainly, carbohydrates we use as fuel. Protein we use as building blocks, and fat we use for hormones and for cell membranes. All three of those are very important, and they're a part of healthy eating. Certainly, in case of protein, it can be of animal protein or vegetarian protein. As you know, many vegetarians get their protein from vegetarian sources, and they will need to pay more attention to the protein intake. All of these macronutrients need to be, just like everything in life, they should be in moderation, and they should be the right ones. When we're talking about carbohydrates, we already said sugar is a simple carbohydrate, bad. The complex carbohydrates, though, that are in plants and whole grains are very good for you, certainly in the right amounts. Same thing is about fats. There are good fats and there are bad fats. Bad fats come with fried foods, processed foods, come with a large amount of animal food, and large amount of omega-6s, which are also come from vegetarian sources, but could be in large amount that are not healthful.
Starting with protein, how much protein should somebody get? The dietitians in the hospital are estimating 0.6 grams per kilogram, but that's for hospitalized patients. How much protein do you
I think there
emphasize?
is a lot of hype about protein, and sometimes numbers are confusing. One thing we know that in Western culture, there is no lack of protein. Again, as long as, vegans and vegetarians should be pay attention, but for the rest of us, you do not need to think about the amount of protein. Certainly somewhere from 0.6 to 1 gram per kilogram is what the recommended dosages are. It's more important to the quality of protein. Let's not forget that legumes, nuts, seeds, whole grains, these are excellent sources of protein. We don't need to think that our protein has to come from animal source. But going back to fats, the good and bad fats, the good fats are the monounsaturated fats like olive oil, like olives, avocado, and those are extremely important to have in your diet.
So with fats, there's different ways of characterizing them. There's saturated fats, which tend to be solid at room temperature, unsaturated fats, which tend to be liquid at room temperature. There are essential fats.
And there is cholesterol. Yeah, so essential fats are the fats that we do not make, and those are omega-3 fatty acids. The omega-3 fatty acids are in fish, but guess what? They are fish is getting it from plankton, from vegetarian sources. So the cow that is actually on a free pasture also can get omega-3s.
But they're coming from plants. In other words, they're essential not only for us, but they're essential for the fish, essential for the cow, and they're getting them from plants, and we're getting them from eating them.
Right, right. So those are things about the macronutrients. So remember, building blocks protein, you need them. Lean protein, vegetarian protein are the best sources. Carbohydrates, starches, complex starches, full of fiber. Fiber is extremely important. We'll talk more about it. And certainly the good fats.
Do you want to talk about complete proteins versus incomplete proteins in terms of amino acid content?
Yeah, there are certain amino acids that we do not make, and we need them, and eggs and meat contain those amino acids. However, also wonderful vegetarian sources like quinoa and buckwheat also contain.
They contain a full complement of the essential amino acids?
Correct, correct. Let's talk about the micronutrients. So when we're talking about micronutrients, we mean minerals and vitamins that are in food. And those are essential minerals like calcium that we need to build the bone, magnesium, and microelements like zinc, copper, and chromium. All of those are important for our metabolism. There are also vitamins that are essential for our body, like vitamin E, like
vitamin D,
vitamin D. We cannot build bones without vitamin D, and as you know, there is new data about the vitamin D and its role in immunity. All of these things, should we talk about the supplements here?
Well, yeah, and I think that it's important to differentiate between the supplements that you can see, like calcium, potassium, magnesium, where a sizable amount of a vitamin mineral tablet is made of these minerals, as opposed to zinc, copper, selenium, chromium, where we're really looking at microscopic amounts, microgram quantities as our recommended.
That is very important, and also when people are talking about supplements, like taking supplements versus getting it from food, there is a big difference. When we talk about these things, people get an idea that they can eat bad food and then they can get the micronutrients in a vitamin or a mineral form. In the reality, many studies have been done and showed that it is not possible. The effect from the food and the effect from the supplement is not the same.
Can we have a brief word about iron? Iron is an important supplement for growing children, pregnant women,
for our blood, we form hemoglobin.
Growing. But once we reach adulthood, taking iron supplements can actually mask blood loss that might lead to further problems.
That's right, that's right. And it's actually true also for many other supplements. So like people during COVID started to take zinc and they can get zinc toxicity. Large amounts of vitamin D can cause vitamin D toxicity. So we will talk about supplements later, but for now this is about macronutrients and micronutrients.
We mentioned fiber before, while we were talking about apples. What is the recommended amount of iron for a person to get in one day?
It is recommended 25 grams of fiber. It is an incredible amount of fiber. And fiber is added to many foods like cereals, but since we're going to recommend against cereals, we want you to take most of your fiber from fruits and vegetables and whole grains and legumes. Legumes are incredible source of fiber. Like half a cup of cooked lentils has 9 grams of fiber.
We are also going to talk about some miscellaneous stuff like polyphenols and flavonoids.
And we'll talk.
We have a little prop for the polyphenols here.
Well, for that, we need to talk about antioxidants. And antioxidants, in order to talk about, first we should say what is oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is a condition when more reactive oxygen species are generated through metabolism that are dangerous to us, and they make us age. They're the major causing effect on atherosclerosis, cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, degenerative diseases. So as a result, people start taking antioxidants. Everyone heard about antioxidants, vitamin C, vitamin E, polyphenols, flavonoids. Guess what? The best way to get your polyphenols are from tea and coffee and wine, and the best way to get your actually fruits and vegetables also. So please eat your vegetables and fruits, and you can have your glass of wine a day, which will give you the right amount of polyphenols. Also coffee and tea, those are also excellent sources of polyphenols and flavonoids.